You're listening to the KATcast, a weekly podcast from the staff you love to listen to each weekday on 94.3 Cat Country. Killian Hart and Jordan J. Now, here they are, talking about life, love, and everything mid-Missouri.
Well, you know, there are so many movies that some of us have never seen, really famous movies, too. And I'm probably more guilty than anybody.
The list of movies you haven't seen
fill a book.
is just...
If phone books still existed, you could fill one.
It's true, because they'll mention a movie and I'll go, oh, I've never seen that. They go, oh, you've never seen whatever. So today...
It's the sad book of Kevin.
It is.
Today
we must enlighten you.
We're going to talk about movies that we've never seen. Again, iconic films that, for whatever reason, you never got to. Okay. For me, again, I've never seen Pulp Fiction. That's one.
A Tarantino classic. To be fair, I just watched that one like a couple years ago myself. Right. Okay. But it's still great. I know. Isn't that kind of crazy?
It's over 20 years old, right?
So
30
good.
years old, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of like Tarantino films. They're just weird.
Yeah, but I mean, like Jordan's right. You know, you got the, look at the big brain on bread and the Grand Royale with cheese. Royale with cheese. Oh, see, I know lines from a lot of these movies. I've never seen The Godfather.
Any of them?
Make an offer you can't refuse.
What do you mean?
And I know, and I love a good mob flick.
Your love of The Sopranos, and you've never seen The God. Dude, that made Al Pacino.
Tony Soprano loved The Godfather. You know what I mean? Like, there are episodes where he'd be sitting there watching The Godfather. I know.
Oh,
but again, that's one I've never...
Stop at part one. Like, I would say don't watch the other one. Like, part one's the best one, but you have to watch The Godfather. It's one of the best movies of all time.
Jordan told me that The Godfather, the first one, there's a really unnecessarily long wedding scene.
At the beginning. It's the very beginning. It's probably like 30 minutes of just B-roll footage of a wedding. Matter of fact, I took like a film class, and I'm pretty sure that they actually just like filmed at someone's wedding. Like they asked if they could be at the wedding, and they just filmed everything going on.
I think that's the story. I think that was the case.
And it's like 30 minutes of nonsense. You can kind of just fast forward through like
and there's some minor flicks too that I don't know if they're classics, but I've never seen them. Like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. I've never seen that.
You've never seen Ace Ventura?
See what I mean? It's like, but come on, that's not a classic. That's not.
But it's
it is. It's a comedy classic.
That is a good Jim Carrey. Like, that's at his, I was in his prime.
I've seen bits and pieces of the vacation flicks. Like
European Vacation,
Have you seen
Vacation.
Christmas
like little bits and pieces. I've never watched the whole.
You never sat down and watched Christmas Vacation?
Not the whole thing.
What's wrong with you?
I know your Christmas gift now.
Stop yelling at me! I'm sure I come up with some others. Jordan, tell me some movies you've never seen.
One of I guess the big one that I haven't seen is I've never seen Sound of Music before. Yeah.
That's a classic.
I know. I know a lot about it.
That is a classic, though.
I know it is.
It's not Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Okay?
And I've seen a lot of classics. You know, I've seen Gone with the Wind.
Oh, you have seen
Casablanca. I've seen what's that one with wow, man. What's that movie? Orson Welles. Why can't I think
Citizen
of it now?
Kane.
Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane.
Gosh. Okay.
So I've seen a lot of classic movies.
Here's the thing, though, with Sound of Music. Number one, it is a musical, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if Jordan would like that.
I don't know. I think
it might be a generational thing. Yeah. I'm dead serious. And I don't. Nothing against you. I'm just saying that.
You and I are not in the same generation.
No, I know that, but you're older than him, and I don't know. I think, and I would love to be wrong, but I'm wondering if you would sit there and go, yeah, this is kind of boring.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
There's only one way to find out.
I got to watch it again. I know tons of things about it.
Once you get to the part with them being chased by the Nazis, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I keep saying, we got to have like a Cat Country movie night, like introduce each other to movies you've never seen.
But see, and that's the thing too, though. You are right, because I'm not like the biggest musical fan.
See?
Which, and this is kind of it's not off topic. It's a movie, but like the second Joker that's coming out, it's going to be a musical. And I don't know how I feel about that. By the way. It's like, I don't know.
I have still not seen The Batman.
The
3-hour flick. I started watching. I was 15, 20 minutes into it. I got distracted. I had to do something else. I never picked it up again. So,
we watched it when we were in Gatlinburg because it was just one night where it was like really stormy.
Yeah.
And we thought, we'll just stay in and we'll watch a movie. And that's the one we chose.
Is that the one with Robert Pattinson?
Yeah.
Yes,
Who was a surprisingly good Batman.
Yeah. That's what I heard. He really he killed it. Yeah.
I think actually they're making another one with him in it.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. I
going to be
think it was so
I
successful.
mean, he
that
definitely shed the Twilight persona.
Yeah, and I think that's what he was wanting to
in
do.
that movie.
He didn't want to be. Was it Edward?
He didn't want to be Sparkly Edward anymore.
Sparkly Edward.
The way that starts too.
Again,
like, he's brutal.
I've never
I know.
seen Twilight. That's another one.
What?
I never. Is that what it's called? Twilight.
To be fair, with the very first Twilight, it's like they got the book and they were like, "Oh my gosh, we have a hit on our hands. We have to make a movie."
Yeah.
It's like they cranked out a movie in like 3 days. Okay, it was probably longer than that.
Yeah,
Okay.
But the rest of
but
them were
it's-
way better than the first one.
As we talk about films here, I'm glad Erin brought up that point because she is a reader, big time reader.
Oh yes.
And she's probably read the book of most movies before she's seen the movie.
Yeah, a lot of times I'm disappointed when I watch the
I was going to
movie.
say does it ruin it most of the time?
A lot of times, yeah.
It's
Because
disappointing, probably. You know,
Yeah,
like-
because as soon as it gets to a point where you're like, you know, and in saying that, the Harry Potter movies, those were done very well. However, there's so much crammed in the book. You probably
Yeah.
could have taken each book and made 3 movies out of it. Easy.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much detail in the book. And I like a lot of detail.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's like trying to cram a 2-hour, 3-hour experience into like a 500-600 page book, right? Like you're taking this. So it's like, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
A lot gets probably lost in translation.
I'm admittedly not a horror fan. I don't watch horror flicks. I just don't like them. Okay, not my genre. Now I know The Shining was not a horror flick. It was more of a thriller, psychological, whatever type of thing. I've never seen The Shining all the way through. I know the scene. Here's Johnny. All that.
Oh, yeah.
But
That was one of the biggest disappointments for me, having
Really?
read the
I've
book
heard
first.
that one's completely different than
It
the
is.
book.
and share why,
Totally.
Aaron, without giving it away. But
Okay, well, like in that famous scene, you know, we all know that he, chopped through the door using an axe, right? It's not an axe in the book.
the book, it was something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there, I won't, I won't give it away.
And they changed the story around too.
What is
right?
it in the
And
book, though?
It's a croquet mallet.
Oh, okay.
We should have said spoiler alert,
Yeah.
but oh well.
Spoiler alert.
The movie's been out for like 30
If you haven't
years.
seen,
I can't help you.
What
There's
is
got to
the-
be an expiration date
What
on the
is the rule
spoilers,
on
right?
spoiler alerts? Yeah, like what is that?
Yeah.
Was it 20 years?
No,
Is it,
I think like the first 3 months. To me,
Yeah.
you give somebody 90 days to
Okay,
watch a movie.
I like that.
After that, it's on them.
I like
Citizen Kane, spoiler alert, it's a sled. Okay.
Matter of fact, that saved you about 3 hours of a terrible movie.
Yeah.
Because seriously, oh man, I've seen that movie twice, and
Yeah.
let me tell you, that's
Yeah.
2 times too many.
Well, it's you know what I mean. It's supposed to be based on William Randolph Hearst, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah. Yes.
the real life person that
Here's
it's
the
supposed
thing,
to
right?
tell about.
Like the
publisher, the
and
newspaper
critics
magnate.
and everything like love it, right? It's got like all these rave reviews, but what I think it has that for is because of the cinematography. That Orson Welles was doing like shots that no one had ever done before. That matter of fact, modern films still use today, right? So
right.
like he set like that's what made it so like, oh my gosh, it's the best movie of all time. The movie sucks. If you like the movie, I'm sorry,
I
but
know.
like it's
Well,
not a great movie.
I've seen it listed as like the greatest movie of all time.
It's not that.
Like at the top of the list, like Citizen Kane, Titanic, Gone with the Wind, whatever. It's like
Terrible.
Please tell me you've seen Titanic.
yeah. I actually saw that multiple times.
Have you
Okay.
seen The Exorcist? Let's talk about
No,
horror
it's a horror
movies.
flick. See, I will not. No, I will
again,
not. I
like
will
a
not watch
classic
it.
horror
I know
movie.
enough about her head spinning around in the green pea soup. Thank you very much. No,
We watched it again over Halloween, and I kind of forgot just how graphic
no,
it is.
no, thank you.
You're
No,
not a
thank you.
horror guy, huh?
I'm not. I will not watch. I mean, hey, more power to you if you enjoy it. I do not enjoy horror flicks. It's not like we're going to watch a horror flick and then at the end I'm going to say, that was really good. I'm glad. I feel better about myself now having.
Okay,
having
so-
watched that.
Good luck sleeping tonight.
So for me, it depends on. I don't like the.
I don't like gruesome blood and guts
I don't
and all
like
that.
brutal. That just gives sickos ideas. I like the more of like the creature features,
Yeah,
where
okay.
it's like Jaws and like Lake Placid. Which to me that was more funny than it was horror because I mean it's a giant crocodile, things like that.
Piranha 3D. Remember that
Oh,
movie?
those are terrible. Those are really
so
terrible.
bad.
We gave them a whirl, but they're terrible. But I like movies more like that, where it's a little more far-fetched.
Mm-hmm.
Humans can be extremely brutal. I think we all know that. And,
For sure.
And I don't like that.
I like just about any
Did
kind of
both
genre
of you
movie.
guys see Signs, Mel Gibson?
Yes.
Okay, I loved it. All right, but I did not love it at first because I thought it was going to be some sort of gross creature horror flick.
Yeah.
And so the scene where the son, Mel Gibson's son, is fighting the creature is in the closet.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. I'm not. It's if you haven't seen it, I'm just going to tell you things that happen, okay?
We're going to count how many times Kevin says spoiler.
That's the last time I'm saying it now for the whole rest of the KATcast. But the creature is in the closet, and he's kind of running something under the door, and I'm like, don't do that! And I turned it off, and I couldn't watch it again for like another week or so. I turned it back on, and then I'd watch like another 15, 20 minutes of it, turned it off. Maybe next day, turn it back on. So it took me like 3 weeks to watch Signs. Okay.
You know what? That happened to me when I was a kid, Kevin.
Yeah?
Great Mouse Detective. I don't know. Do you ever remember? Yeah, I know. I'm gonna. When I was a kid, most terrifying movie of all time.
To you, really?
It was the part where like the bat character in that is like he's real like.
Never saw.
That's kind of like, and he's like trying to break into like steal like these kids. Yeah, like kidnap them. And so he's trying to break into the house. It's like the stormy night. The door's like jangling. You hear him cackling. Dude, I had to turn the movie off for at least 30. I missed the first 30 minutes of the movie because I'd be watching at my grandma's house and I'd be like, "Don't turn the TV back on yet, Grandma. It's got to be. I need to make sure for sure it's past that."
Did you ever see that movie, Aaron? I've never seen it.
Yeah,
Is it animated or
it's a cartoon? It's a kid's show. It's a kid's show that terrified me as a kid.
Okay, so like, hang on. I'm intrigued. When it comes to scary movies, would you do like paranormal or ghost stuff, or is that too intense?
It would be
Oh,
on a per flick basis. I don't know. I mean, I'd have to see a trailer for it. I don't know. I can't. I
could break you in with Casper.
I like Casper,
and then we'll go from there.
Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to be friends.
You've at least seen Ghostbusters.
Well, wait, Aaron.
Right?
Let's go to Aaron. What movies, famous ones, have you never seen? This is
Okay.
going to probably give me a short list. But.
Well, okay, so there's two that pop up immediately. Schindler's List.
Great
what
one.
a flick!
Because, I mean,
Liam Neeson.
Because it would make you sad?
It breaks my heart.
See?
It really does. It breaks
It
my
is-
heart.
it's
that
a tough one.
Humanity to man. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. But it's so worth it.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
But and then Passion of the Christ.
I've never seen that either.
Everybody
those are good.
said it was incredible, but I know that there is a very long crucifixion scene, and I don't
very
think
graphic.
And I
I
would
could
say
get through that.
It's brutal too.
I'm
Mel
starting to
Gibson,
get a little
like,
teary just thinking about that.
No.
Because I'm like, I don't think I could sit there and watch that.
Yeah.
And I've honestly had friends who've told me, "Hey, as a Christian, you need to see it." I go, "No, I really don't need to because I don't."
It's a tough one.
I don't. I can imagine enough without seeing.
And it is brutal.
So,
and I
yeah.
mean, like, it's
very graphic.
Oh,
and,
100%. Like some of the things that happen, you're just like, man, like you want to almost stop watching it. It's that graphic.
There are certain movies, and I will tell you, and some flicks, I'm just a softie. Okay, there are movies. I'm almost
this will be
embarrassed.
good.
No, you're not making it any easier, Missy.
I'm just sitting here with
there are
bated
certain
breath.
movies that will kind of bring me to tears, and I've seen it like 100 times, and we'll still get to that scene in the movie, and I'll be sitting there going, "Okay, here we go." E.T.
Oh, yeah.
When he's under the blanket, and Elliot thinks he's dead.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the heart glows.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, he's alive. He's alive.
Okay.
And I was sitting in the movie theater in 1982 doing that. And even now.
So here's mine. You can make fun of me.
Go ahead.
Okay. Hook.
Okay.
With Robin Williams.
Yes.
Okay.
When, oh gosh, I can't think of the little boy's name, but the cute kid with the little chubby cheeks, and he goes, oh, "There you are, Peter." Oh, it gets me every single time because when Robin Williams got there, he didn't realize or remember that he was Peter Pan.
Yeah.
All right, crying time, Jordan.
Crying time?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't get too emotional during movies.
Really?
Like, funny enough.
You're
actually.
a man made of stone.
No, I just no.
And another one, Titanic. When they show the old couple on the bed and he's holding her and he kisses her and the water's rushing
and he
in
says,
around
"See you,
him.
baby."
No, they didn't say
he
that.
says, "I'm staying with you."
But
Okay.
no, it was an older couple that chose
And then they
to
went,
stay behind because men weren't supposed to be allowed on the boats, and the backstory for that is that he wasn't allowed and she wouldn't go without him.
Wow.
So they chose to die together.
This is going to sound so cynical.
Okay, go ahead.
But so it's like, I realized how serious of a movie Titanic is, right? It's a great movie.
I know where he's
it's
going
a great
here.
movie. But every time, this scene in the movie, it takes me out of it. It takes me out of it, and I start hysterically laughing. It's supposed to be a serious scene. It's when the boats, like, it starts to rise up, and they start falling off of it.
Yes.
Okay, Jordan, as you're telling us, can I show this to everybody?
Yeah,
okay.
Is it like the guy falling?
The dude hits the propeller and he like helicopters down. I'm like, is this I laugh every time.
Look at
and
this.
I know.
This is kind of hilarious, though. I have to admit. Okay, I have this success.
No, I understand because I know the scene you're talking about.
It takes me out of it.
It's the sound he makes, and then it's kind of like
I know. And again, I'm not trying to make fun. I know it's super serious, but like it's such a serious show, a movie, and then like out of nowhere that happens, and I'm like, was that supposed to be
I would
funny?
love to know how many people who just watched that with us are laughing as well now. Because, come on, people who never saw it or noticed it before. It's, Okay, speaking of Sound of Music.
Yes.
The wedding scene with Maria is going down, dong, the bell rings, or whatever. And she starts walking down, and the nuns' chorus starts singing, "How do you solve a problem like Maria?" And I'm sitting there, and I was like, I don't know, it's just so majestic and old school. And there's the nuns all lined up, and they're all happy they're getting rid of Maria finally, And I'm just like, yeah. And then they panned. There's the captain waiting there, and there's the priest, and he does this whole. I'm like, oh man, I love this.
Yeah, but like you mentioned before, what woman wants to be walking down that aisle and they're singing, "How do you solve a problem?" Insert name.
You marry her off. That's
exactly.
what.
This one's. I'm going to get scolded for this one because I know a lot about it and I've seen some of it, but I haven't seen it all the way through. Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Great.
I haven't seen it all the way through.
I'm a Monty Python head.
Yes.
So I love that.
And again, I know a lot about it. I know a lot of I have seen some of it. I just haven't seen it all the way through.
Kevin, have you seen any of the Harry Potters?
Yeah, I've seen them all.
Okay, that shocks me.
Yeah, I know.
Does that shock
movies.
you?
It kind of does.
But see, my kids were still like teenagers and everything when that came out, so they were going to see it. So we were kind of along for the ride, so to speak.
Every movie just gets better. Like the first one starts off like kind of kiddish, and then like the second one just immediately ramps it up.
It's amazing to see them grow up too.
Yeah, it's cool.
They grow up before your eyes.
Those are
and
great
talk about reading a book and watching the movie. Like one of the most disappointing series ever, 50 Shades of Grey.
Never saw it.
Not the best written books out there. Definitely interesting. But the acting, because there's just no chemistry.
There's a side of Aaron I never knew
between Dakota Johnson and I'm trying to think of the guy Jamie Doran. There's just no chemistry whatsoever.
Have either of you ever seen the original 10 Commandments?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
With Charlton Heston.
Yes.
That's another one that makes me cry. Okay, couple of scenes there. Number one, when the children of Israel are leaving Egypt, and it's kind of funny, and funny little things happen on the way. It's like 400 years in bondage, and now he won't move. The donkey, they're trying to push the donkey. That's one thing I go. And then when
the donkey makes you cry.
Yes. And then the old lady, she has a plant. Or the old man has a plant or whatever. He goes, I grew this in my garden or whatever. And he goes, children will eat of its fruit in the promised land. All
right, okay.
Wait, one more from here.
Okay.
The 10 Commandments. They get to this Red Sea, and Moses says, behold his mighty hand. And the water just parts. I go, yeah, get him, God.
I was going to say, you're probably like, he did it. He actually parted. He did it.
Our boy Moses, he did it.
He's all grown up now.
So 10 Commandments has 3 or 4 spots for me.
Thinking about the emotion movies is something that made me tear up. I finally got it. Okay. Marley and Me. Great. Great movie.
Okay.
And that was a movie that I did tear up on.
I hope we don't have to do a spoiler alert on that.
In that same vein, I will be 100 years old and I will still cry at the end of Old Yeller.
Old Yeller.
Old Yeller, yeah.
That's a Disney flick that,
never cried, but
cry now.
Got emotional. This is a show, if you've never seen it, This Is Us. Great show. Yeah. Very emotional throughout the entire thing,
It's
too.
great. It was a great series.
Yeah, your emotions will go up and down in that
that's one I haven't watched yet.
Yeah, I definitely recommend that. Yeah.
That's a great... Lord of the Rings. You ever seen Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I like it.
You seen all of them?
Yeah,
The Hobbit and all that?
Yeah, I think...
Okay.
No, actually, I stand corrected. I think the only one I did not see... What was the last one? The Castle... what's the last one called?
You talking about Return of the King?
Return of the King? Is that the last one?
Are you talking about of which one? They redid The Hobbit and they redid the
Lord of the Rings.
The originals, whichever one the original was.
Dude, you haven't seen Return of the King, the one that won like all the Oscars?
I don't remember. I don't know. I don't remember.
If not, you need to watch it.
I'll throw Hilly a bone on this one.
Okay.
And I wouldn't call them classics by any means, but I've never seen any of the Star Trek
I
films.
knew she was going to mention stuff. You would enjoy it.
I don't think so.
You would enjoy. Oh, no, Aaron, you like nature and whales and everything. You would love Star Trek The Voyage Home because they
Nature
have to
and
rescue
whales.
2 humpback whales from our time and bring it into the future.
Wait a minute, they put
just
2
watch-
humpback whales on a ship?
Yes.
Just watch the Orville.
George and Gracie. George and Gracie are the whales' names.
Oh, like Alan?
Yes, exactly. And you won a Gracie Award.
Oh, so therefore I
there's
have to watch this
So
geeky
you should
Star
watch
Trek
the
film?
whales. No, it's a great. I mean, all the Star Trek movies, are really tremendous.
Is there a movie that's like the second one was better than the first one for you?
Oh, The Wrath of Khan.
Oh, is that yeah?
Oh,
You know what mine is?
Go ahead, do it. That's coming.
Mine is Back to the Future. I think part 2 is better than 1.
Really?
1 is
Oh.
great. Honestly, every single one of those movies are great, but the second one, the way that it's interwoven in the first one, like Marty's there and sees his younger
Yes,
self and like the way he does, that was so cool, man. Like you talk about they don't make movies like that, right? Like to me, that was just huge and
the
grand
second one.
in
Does he
scale.
go forward to 2015?
The second one,
They had the 80s cafe and all that.
Yeah. He goes in the future, but then he
Right.
also goes back, and then he's like, he's back where
Biff,
he was
and you
also
got the
back in time.
Older Biff, and then yeah. Okay, that's right.
Yeah, he has the farmer, not the. It's the sports almanac. I said farmer's almanac. The sports almanac, the 2000 sport
We're
almanac.
going to bet on some temperatures.
But it's also funny. Yeah, it's like 2015, and they got hoverboards and flying cars. We're like, well,
we're still waiting.
Yeah.
We're still waiting. Did you see the
we have
letter?
self-driving
now.
cars.
Did you
at
see the
least.
Letterman episode where they showed up? Was it Letterman or one of the shows where Marty and Doc showed up on that date in 2015?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And he goes, they're like, this is it? Like, something went wrong.
How disappointing.
Well, of course, we have hoverboards now, right? Well, in a way.
In a way, kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
There's segways without the handlebar.
Let's go back, Doc.
I don't think we're ready to have no handles yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lord of the Rings was like that too to me. Fellowship of the Ring, great.
Yeah.
2 Towers, way better.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, there are so many movies that I don't know if there's enough time in my lifetime now to see them all because.
I'm sure there's more I can't think of. I just the number one thing.
But you know what? Here's a great idea. As you watch this, leave a comment about what movies. Okay, 2 things. Number 1, what you've never seen, and secondly, which ones you think we should see.
Yeah.
Because maybe we'll start compiling a list. Because was it your idea, Aaron, about
A Cat Country movie night.
yeah, where
Oh, that'd be
we
cool.
each watch movies that the other has never seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, another one that makes me cry. Benjamin Button.
Benjamin Button.
Passes away, and
That
he's
is such a
he's a
oh,
little
kids.
sweet baby in her arms. I'm just like, no.
Benjamin Button was one of those movies we've all seen those like where even after you're done watching it,
You think about it.
think
over
about it.
and over and over
I thought
again.
about it for weeks.
There's
after
Brad
it
Pitt,
was-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. You've never seen it?
No, I have. I've seen.
Oh, okay.
I've seen Curious Case.
It is. I mean, actually, of all these movies that we've mentioned, I'm just gonna. This is just my opinion. Benjamin Button. If you've never seen it, the Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Unreal.
It's a good Brad Pitt movie, but you know what I think's better though? Meet Joe Black. If you've never seen
Oh,
that,
gosh.
Meet Joe Black is better to me than
Yeah.
Benjamin Button.
That's
Okay.
a good one, too.
That's a
That's a bit of a
good one.
tearjerker, too.
That one is too. And it's very interesting. Have you seen that one?
I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't know.
Oh, you gotta watch it.
So
You gotta watch
maybe if I don't remember, it means I haven't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was gonna say,
So
yeah. That's a good
all right.
one.
Well, that's a great topic. I mean, we could do this.
Oh, yeah.
forever. I mean,
Okay,
there's-
before we close it
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
number 1 snack you got to have while you're eating a movie. Eating a movie, watching a movie.
Watching a movie.
I love what's the little chocolate balls. What are they?
You talking?
Raisinets?
No, I like Raisinets though. Oh, the little.
Oh, I know what you're
Whoppers?
talking about. Whoppers.
No, not Whoppers. They're
Oh, you're
soft.
talking about- Milk Duds.
Milk Duds. Love
Yeah.
Milk Duds.
Oh, they're not that soft.
No,
I mean,
they're
good.
chewy
They're
caramel
chewy.
deliciousness.
They're chewy. Okay.
Yeah.
Milk Duds.
Milk Duds is my favorite chocolate candy.
They get caught
Mike
easily,
and
but-
Ike's are my favorite fruit candy. And then nachos and cheese, classic.
Oh, gosh. And I only said one. And look at Jordan giving us the
Well,
answer.
He's got a whole candy store going
Yeah,
on
well,
over there.
again, I got my chocolate taste, my fruity taste, and then if I want my savory, you know.
And then
Okay,
you got
okay.
your $15 popcorn. It's about this big.
For me, it's always a toss-up because if they have like the small Butterfingers there, I'm all over that. If not, it's Milk Duds. Starburst. They've started having Starburst. So
Okay.
or gummy bears.
Yes.
And then, of course, you got to have your buttered and salted popcorn.
All right.
Popcorn is classic.
Yeah.
catcountry@mailzimmer.com. You see it right there. Feel free to shoot us a note. Love to hear from you. And, of course, leave a comment if the podcast here allows a comment on. I don't know where you're watching it on, but wherever you watch our podcast from, it's the KATcast.
That's right. Watch or listen.
Anywhere.
You've been listening to the KATcast, your weekly dose of fun from the staff you know and love on 94.3 Cat Country. Click subscribe and never miss an episode. Share it on social media and tell your friends with 94.3 Cat Country.